Hello, everyone. My name is Rami. I'm currently a senior here at UL studying biology with a concentration in pre-medicine. How many of you here are currently organ donors? On average, about 50% of the US population are currently organ donors, but the problem is with this statistic is that most of the US population will not be able to donate vital organs. The only way you can donate vital organs, such as your liver and your heart, is by way of brain death. Brain death is a very uncommon way of death where your brain stops responding, but the rest of your organs are alive for a few hours, which allows a transplant surgeon to come in and remove these organs. So, about 14,000 patients get organs every single year that they need, but there's still over 100,000 people on the transplant list to this day, and this number continues to rise. So, this brings me into my point known as 3D printing human organs. There is a scientist by the name of Dr. Adam Feinberg who believes he's developed a technique that allows you to 3D print human hearts. His technique is basically you take stem cells, which are cells from your own human, and you put it into a 3D printer and you begin a process known as electric spinning, where you basically replicate this cell over and over again until you have enough of these cells to form a human heart. He uses a product known as alginate, which basically replicates cardiac muscle to give it the same feeling of the human heart and the same structure. For reference, the human heart is about the size of your fist. Now, his work is still years away from being actually usable in human beings because it's the heart. It's a very difficult organ to replicate and to be able to use. But I want to talk about a simpler organ, which is basically the bladder. So this guy, his name is Luke Masella. Luke basically was born with spina bifida and had to go through a lot of surgeries while he was growing up, and eventually his bladder stopped working. And because his bladder stopped working, his kidneys began to fail, and he needed a new bladder, but he couldn't find one on the transplant list. So the bladder, for reference, is transitional epithelium and then connective tissue. It's very easy to replicate. So scientists were able to develop a bladder using a 3D printer that they were able to insert and replace Luke's bladder at that time. And to this day, it's still functioning and working, and he's living a very healthy and normal life. Now, this is huge for modern medicine, and it allows you to see potential with this 3D printing. It allows funding for the future and allows scientists to continue driving towards the goal of ultimately being able to 3D print any human organ. The benefits of developing 3D printing human organs is that you can eliminate the needs of a transplant list. Now, if you can eliminate the needs for the transplant list, this lowers that 3.6 year time period to a matter of a couple of hours. You can print these things very fast and at whatever pace you need. 3D printing in a couple of hours, it'll save millions of lives. This also eliminates the need for anti-rejection medication. Anti-rejection medication is also known as immunosuppressants. And immunosuppressants basically work to prevent your body from eliminating the new organ that you get. So the problem with immunosuppressants is that it causes a lot of side effects. Some of the most common ones are headache and nausea. But the most important one is that it increases your risk of infections. I personally work in an emergency department at Lafayette General, and I see a lot of patients that come in who have received transplants that are severely sick because their body doesn't have enough immunity because of these anti-rejection medications. So eliminating the need for anti-rejection medication and transplant lists will cause humans to live a lot better and healthier life. And lowering the amount of time for you to get a transplant will make it much easier. I truly believe that this is the future of medicine, and we're only a few short years away from being able to do this more practically. Obviously, it will take more training, more research, and more testing before we are fully able to do 3D printing human organs, but I believe this is the future, and we're just seeing the beginning of it. Thank you.